Can anybody on the chat see me? You guys can see me, right? Sorry, I need to fix something here on my end because my I can't see the chats and I'm being told I need to log in to see the chats. Okay, 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 okay. Sorry about that, guys. I'm so sorry about that. So sorry about that. I got carried away. I got really carried away, and then I looked at the chat and I recognized that I realized rather that I could not see your chat. And I was supposed to be seeing that. I'm so sorry. Like I said, this is my first time doing this. So many things I need, so many things I need to pay attention to. All right, just making sure you guys can see me. Uh, please, if you can see me, just say we can see you. Confirmation in the chats, please. Chooks, what's your name? Okay, thank you, thank you. And the funny part is that those who gave super chats before, now I can't see you guys anymore. I'm so sorry, so sorry, so sorry. Yes, it is my first time going live. It is my first time going live, and I'm operating this like a very old man, like a 60, 75. In fact, Joe Biden is more competent than I am when it comes to operating this thing. Believe me, it is really embarrassing, to say the least. Anyways, what was I talking about? I was talking about how prominent football is all over the world and how the only people who don't care about it or who know little to nothing about it are those in the United States, which is why someone like Benny Johnson would say Megan Rapinoe lost the free kick. And we are going to go ahead and watch it. So, yeah. Okay. This kind of loss is kind of embarrassing. Like losing like this, like the shot was just so off target, so like, and I understand it. You know, I understand it. It happens all the time, but this is pathetic. And this is her last match, from what I understand. This is her last tournament, and after this, she plans to retire. Such a terrible way to end your career. Reminds me of Zidane. I don't know if any of you in the chat know who Zidane is. Uh, this Zidane's last game was more embarrassing than this. I mean, he head butted somebody on the chest, and they lost. Was France? I remember. Was it a World Cup or was it a club? I'm not even sure anymore. I don't know if it was. The details are kind of fuzzy. Anyway, but this is embarrassing. It is really, 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 really embarrassing. Like, it is very embarrassing. You don't lose like this. And you can see from the smile on her face, she knows, like, oh, I messed up. I messed up. Look at the goalpost. Look at where I look at what I was look at where the ball went. Like, this is where I kicked the ball to. It's so embarrassing. It's really bad. If it was shot on target and then the keeper kind of, you know, caught the ball or hit the ball, prevent the ball from entering into the goalpost, it will be understandable, right? But I mean, the shot was so off target, so bad, so terrible. And I feel for her. But then when you understand who this lady is and the things she has advocated for, you understand why so many people are using this opportunity to dunk on her. I mean, this is someone who advocated for equal pay, you know. Yeah, I saw our girls. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat. Chat rather. I saw our girls. We lost, my brother. We lost. it was sad as well, and everybody is quick to tell them we are proud of you. We did well. We did well. I would say we did well. Wasn't that bad. I saw our girls. It was terrible for us too. Yeah, thank you, Solomon. It was 2006 World Cup against Italy. I forgotten who he had butted. It was really embarrassing. And this lady's embarrassment was at least she missed the penalty. It happens all the time. Like I don't know why people are making this look like this is the worst that's never happened. But I get it. I get it. It's not surprising. It's because of the things she has advocated for. She has advocated for you know trans women in women's sports. She has advocated for equal pay. And the whole idea of equal pay when it comes to sports is just ridiculous. Like you people it's just like the way I understand it, which is obviously how it is like there are minor leagues and then there are major leagues, right? And the major leagues draw more attention, earn more money, and minor leagues don't. Now imagine a player in the minor league wanting to earn the same amount as someone in a major league. That's how it is when women are requesting for equal pay when it comes to football. Your sport does not generate as much revenue. You don't sell as much tickets. You don't get as much endorsement deals. When you win tournaments, the pay is not as much as the pay for men because of men's sports is more interesting, more fascinating, attracts more viewers. Yours is still developing, it's still upcoming. So instead of being patient and waiting for your league to gain prominence and earn more money and grow, you're like, no, treat us like the men. And I think it's bad because one of the reasons why I think this is bad is because it also make the women's league not to grow, because there's something about hunger. There's something about realizing that this is we are not there yet, right? There's something about this. We are not there yet, so we need to keep working harder. As women, we need to keep improving our sports, doing the best, to promote our leagues, promote our tournaments and stuff like that, and make it more fascinating and more interesting. But once you are still, playing, your game is less interesting than somebody who is playing Division One, even Division Two, even college football, what am I saying? Even secondary school football is more interesting than your league, than your game, right? And that is men, amongst the men, secondary school men. I mean, was it not this team, the US football team, that lost 20-0 against high school football team in the United States? That's to tell you how bad they are. Yet they are being paid the same amount as men. Why? Your league is still growing. You guys are not there yet. So the hunger is gone. The drive is gone. And of course, it's maybe even that's the point. These people don't really want to try harder. They just feel we deserve it. Give it to us. We don't want to hear your excuse. Just give it to us. And that's how you you divide the money equally. And take money and give to the amount of money you give to people whose league is just pathetic, whose game you cannot keep on. As have you watched film? I'm not dunking on women. Like I don't think they can improve. I'm just saying, come on, watch women football. Except if maybe in the World Cup when there's a lot of hype, and stuff like that, you can see a lot of people tune in to watch, women's World Cup. But other leagues or other games and stuff like that women play, you just see no interest, like no interest, because the game is just not as interesting. I mean, when you are used to watching see Ronaldo, when you are used to watching Messi, when you are used to watching, professional footballers who have honed their craft and are good at the game, when you watch them play, when you are used to that kind of thing, and then you move and then you see women who are running like, I'm not dunking on them, but anybody who follows football know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, you know. Yeah, it's sad. Even Australia lost 9-0 against the local club. Wow. You see, this is common. This is common. It's common. It just goes to show you that the level of entertainment you derive from watching men play is not the same as you see from women play. Another way to understand equal pay is think about it like this, right? Nigerians will understand this, and I want to use a Nigerian analogy because I believe Nigerians will understand it, and this channel is called Nigerian Perspective, right? Now in Nigeria, there's something we call drinking gari. Drinking gari is when you take, there's something we call gari. It's made out of cassava. You mix it with water and then you drink it, right? When you want to drink gari, the two major ingredients you need is water and gari. Both of them are very important. You can't have one without the other. When you want to drink gari, both of them are very important. But they don't cost the same. The gari is more expensive than the water. In fact, the water may even be free. You may not even pay for it. But gari is more expensive. Now imagine if people now say, "Oh no, if you can't drink gari without both water and gari, then if both of them are equally important, then both of them should cost the same amount. You should pay the same for both of them." Then the argument will be the what you go through to obtain gari is not the same thing as what you will go through to get water. It's easier to get water. It's easier. The ease of access is what makes water less expensive and makes gari more expensive. It has nothing to do with the fact that they are both equally important. It's the same thing with water and food. If you go to the local restaurant or wherever you go to eat stuff, the amount you pay for the food is not the same amount you pay for the water. Why don't they get the same? Why are they not worth the same? Are they not equally important? Can you do without one or the other? You get what I'm saying? It's the same thing with men. Although this analogy is not perfect, but it just goes to explain that difference in cost is not always a matter of injustice. It's just many factors, many things are being factored in. Many things are being put into consideration. So when your league is not worth that amount, it's not worth it. And it's not because, women are being marginalized or whatever it is that you want to say is the reason why, people are, or those in charge are paying you less. These people, the women football team took the organization in Nigeria, I say in Nigeria, in America in charge of football, they took them to court and won. And the court ordered that they should be paid equally, the same amount with men. Think about that. And when she was interviewed, I think is here. When she was interviewed and asked, let's watch it. Let's watch it. There's something she said after she lost when she did one of, you'll be asked questions and stuff like that. And just listen to what she said is her legacy. Just so you know how much of a very wonderful person this lady is.
Oh, I mean,
just for context, yeah, she was being asked what is her legacy. I think after the L, let me just to provide context. After the L at the World Cup today, Megan Rapinoe was asked what her favorite moment of playing for US soccer was. Her response was equal pay. And now let's hear her say it. Let me make this full screen.
Is there a memory that stands out to you right now in this moment?
I mean, probably equal pay chance after the final. And I think, they were saying equal pay, but could have been saying a lot of things. I think this team has always fought for so much more, and that's been the most rewarding part for me. Of course, playing in World Cups and winning championships and doing all that, but, to know that we've used our really special talent to do something that's really changed the world forever. I think that means the most to me, and the players in this locker room here, they're just getting started, and to all the players that I played with, obviously, who know what it's like to be in the grind. That's the best part.
Is there a memory?
So you can see what her legacy is as a footballer. I miss the day when people in sports, athletes and footballers and what have you, when what they cared about was actually, anyway, that moment, that era is not over. It still exists. But, it used to be that when you ask people, what is your legacy? You'd be like, oh, we played a good game. We revolutionized, we did something extraordinary when it was our time to play the game. we are good at our craft. When you think about people like Ronaldinho, when you think about Pele, when you think about Maradona, you don't think about activism. You think about people who played the game and played it well, right? Well, let's come to the world of boxing. When you think about Mike Tyson, you don't say, "Oh, that guy was an activist. He brought equal pay." No, he played the game and he played it well. That used to matter. That used to be what everybody cared about, not activism. And for me, I just feel it's one of the this is where competence has been replaced with activism. What people care about is, oh, we brought change. We fought for something, even though what we fought for is so ridiculous. But hey, we fought for something, but we were bad at the game. We were terrible at the game, but we fought for something. We did not advance the game. We did not make the game better, but we fought for something, guys. At least we fought for something. At least we were able to steal money from the men and give it to the women. That is our legacy. We fought for something, guys. I'm like, no. This is not what. Imagine having. It's just like a doctor. You call a doctor or a scientist or a researcher, somebody who is supposed to find the cure for cancer or something. And then at the end of his career or her career, whoever the person is, whatever gender or genderless, they, them, whatever pronoun the person uses, when you ask that person, what is one of the things notable things you did in your career? And then they're like, we fought for this. We marched for this. We protested for this. And you're like, really? Did you find the cure for cancer? Did you advance the field of medicine? Did you discover something? What research did you engage in? None of that matters. It's just, we fought for. Do you know the things we fought for? Let me tell you, like 7 of the things we were able to achieve in activism. That's the equivalent of this. Like, we didn't play a good game. We didn't revolutionize the game for women. We didn't do something remarkable. But we fought for equal pay, guys. We fought for equal pay. Doesn't make sense. Anyways, let's move on. I think I've dwelt so long on this mountain. And the next thing I want to talk about is, I hope I've not mistakenly ended the chat. Because every time I click on one of these things, the chat just ends. Are you guys still there? Anybody still there? All right. Sorry. You guys, we are a team in this, This is teamwork. It's teamwork over here. So that feedback is necessary for me to know I'm still on. After I went off the last time, I'm kind of worried that it will happen again. Okay, so here is the news that everyone is talking about. This is the main news. Leave the women, soccer, whatever. Europe is where the news is. Anyway, the World Cup is happening in Europe, But beyond that, this is the main news. This is the one everyone is talking about. This is the one that matters, right? So this is from Euronews. It says controversial influencer Andrew Tate released from house arrest in Romania pending trial. The Tate brothers, aged 34 and 36, are charged with multiple counts of human trafficking and rape in Romania. Controversial online influencer Andrew Tate has been released from house arrest in Romania pending his trial for human trafficking and placed under judicial supervision. The Bucharest Court of Appeal made the ruling on Friday. Tate's brother, Tristan, and other alleged accomplices are also subject to the new condition, which are valid for a period of 60 days until early October. During this period, the brothers, aged 36 and 34 respectively, must report regularly to the police and are not allowed to leave the Bucharest area, while they are charged with human trafficking and rape without the judges. Where they are charged with, let me read that again. During this period, the brothers, aged 36 and 34 respectively, must report regularly to the police and are not allowed to leave the Bucharest area where they are charged with human trafficking and rape without the judge's consent. They are also not allowed to meet the 2 Romanian women co-accused in the case. Arrested at the end of December, the Tate brothers spent 3 months in pre-trial detention before being subjected to house arrest, which they have repeatedly contested. So far, no date for a trial has been set. So that is the news, guys. That is the news. They've been released from house arrest and they've been kept under judicial control. I'm very sure by the time this whole saga is over, many people will become experts in human trafficking. Many people will become experts in Romanian law. At this point, I feel like a Romanian lawyer with how much information I've been fed with regards to human trafficking and judicial process in Romania. By the time all of this is over, we'll all be experts in that. I believe. Anyway, so that's the news. There's a lot more in this article, but I just want you all to pay attention to what the actual fact of the matter is, because the next thing you're about to hear is Andrew Tate. So here is Andrew Tate talking about, what happened in courts, which this happened on I think this happened on Friday, right? I'm not sure. I think Friday or Saturday. I'm not sure. Now listen to how he narrates the whole thing.
In a dungeon with I spent 3 months in a jail cell in a dungeon with cockroaches sharing my blanket with me. 3 months. Then I finally got released. 7 months I've been locked in my house, and today a judge decided to let me go. I want everybody at home to understand exactly why that is. Up until now.
So you heard what he said. He has been kept in his house, caged up, locked up, innocent man that he is, obviously. I mean, there's nobody as innocent as Andrew Tate. Come on. If Andrew Tate is guilty, then I should be serving life, because this guy is of impeccable moral character. There's forensic analysis have been done by 3 billion organizations, and they found absolutely nothing. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. The point is, pay attention to the fact that he said he was, detained for so long, 10 months if you allow him, but he said 7. So he was being generous by saying 7. He could have said 25. You know how this guy exaggerates. In fact, everything that comes out of Andrew Tate's mouth is either a lie or an exaggeration. I don't understand, but that's how he talks. That's his way. He's like Donald Trump with some extra baggage of human trafficking. He's Donald Trump if Donald Trump was a human trafficker. Thankfully, he's not. I think he even lies more than Trump. Trump is honest. At least when Trump is lying, everybody knows he's lying. But this guy is lying to children, most of whom don't even know when he's lying. And I think that's one of the problem with him. But I'm talking a lot. Bear in mind, what he said was, the judge has let him go. Now, anybody who listens to this will believe that the case is over. Let us listen to it again. Listen to what he said.
I spent 3 months in a jail cell, in a dungeon, with cockroaches sharing my blanket with me.
Yeah, only cockroach. I'm very sure there are rats. There were rats in that dungeon. There was like an alligator in the other cell. There was also a lion at the other end. Sometimes the lion would sneak into his cell. It was really dangerous, guys. You guys really need to understand how dangerous this whole thing is. Believe me, I know some of you think Romanian dungeon. I've not been there, but from what I've heard, it was a dungeon. Jesus Christ. Just cockroaches. In Nigeria, we have mosquitoes, but cockroaches is terrible. I want you to understand the level of suffering that this guy has been through. In fact, Jesus was... Anyway, let me not start blaspheming. Let me not start blaspheming. But I'm talking too much. Let me allow the sage to speak.
3 months. Then I finally got released. 7 months I've been locked in my house, and today a judge decided to let me go. I want everybody at home to understand exactly why that is. Up until now, all of the imprisonment and the deprivation of my liberty had nothing to do with evidence. It wasn't about evidence in a case file. It was the Romanian judicial system trying to decide if 1, I am a public danger, or 2, I am a flight risk. And to be fair to...
Now, what he's saying here is partially correct. Because he said everything that's had to do with the deprivation of my liberty is not about evidence. It's about, getting to know. He's partially correct here. But the problem with him is that he always conflicts issues. I don't know whether it's because he does not understand how legal proceedings, or he does not understand, legal details and stuff. Maybe his lawyers are not communicating it well enough to him. Or maybe when they are communicating it to him, he's just smoking cigars and, thinking about the Quran, and he doesn't have time to really get into the details. But he when he reports it, he doesn't report it well. So let me not say in this part that he's lying, but he's partially correct. Yes, to a huge degree, he has been contesting his house arrest. But now he said it all this while. It has nothing to do with evidence all this while. Well, at what point did he start? You know, he just conflicts facts. But let's keep going. Let's just keep going.
I am non-emotional. I am a professional, even when I am suffering. And I understand as an international man of huge financial resource, it's easy to deem me a flight risk.
It's more than easy to deem you a flight risk, Tate. There's a video of you talking about how if you have a problem in Romania, you have like 50 million visas, you can go to 25 million countries, you can even hop on one of Elon Musk's spaceship and shoot to Mars if you have to. You've bragged a lot about so many things. So to suggest that you're a flight risk is not it's not difficult, and I don't think you've helped your case in any way. There are countless videos of you talking. If there's even one where you said if you have to move to Nigeria, you will move to Nigeria. I'm like, which Nigeria? Don't worry, you're gonna help us fight Niger. Anyway, I digress.
So my liberty was deprived. Only recently I was charged. This indictment appeared. I want everybody at home to also understand that 3 different federal agencies from 3 different countries have investigated my life for the last 15 months. Every photo I've ever taken, every video I've ever made, every conversation I've ever had, every phone call, 2,000 people who know me were contacted. Every single ex-girlfriend, my vet, my pool guy, my old...
We get it. Every person you greeted on the street was contacted. Every person you ever looked at was contacted. You know, yeah, we know. We get it. Move on.
House cleaner in an apartment I used to have 11 years ago. You name them. If they had anything to do with me, no matter how tedious the link, they were contacted and they were interviewed.
You don't mean
Hotlines were set up. Billboards were made.
My God. Even every time I watch YouTube, I have to skip the ad because there's this ad that pop up and say, do you have any incriminating evidence against the Tates? And I keep skipping it, but it keeps popping up. Every 5 minutes into every long form content that I watch, I see adverts, telling me to, to rat you out. I get it. Keep moving.
Has Andrew Tate ever hurt you? Do you have any information on Andrew Tate? The media was offering £50,000 for anybody who would give a negative story to me. Find another man who has hundreds of ex-girlfriends and not a single one of them rolled on me. Not a single one of them for money would say I'm a bad person.
Jesus Christ. Oh, all right, let's just...
In fact, they would all say the opposite and defend me and stick up for me.
I read somewhere, I cannot bring up the information now, but I think it's here. Let me bring up something just to show you guys. This was something that somebody tweeted, just so you guys know something about this case, which Andrew Tate will not want you to know. Here is something No, not this. Sorry. Not this. Sorry, let me get the right. Okay, here it is. Now this is something somebody tweeted. He said, this guy wants you to only focus on Emma Gabi, the US orphaned autistic victim. Yet there are 10 victims on record, 7 in Romania, 4 in the UK, and the RISE project interviewed 50 plus victims of the Tates who gave accounts of rape, trafficking of war refugees and minors. Parties inviting vulnerable girls and terrified escapees. So an organization called the RISE project has interviewed over 50 plus victims. But what is he saying here? Forensic analysis, folks, and nothing has been found. Absolutely nothing has been found. The Tates are so innocent, too innocent. But of course, all of it is false. Like I said in one of my shots, the way to know if the Tates are lying is when their mouth begin to move. But I'm getting somewhere.
You're talking about a man of moral fiber. Find another man who can go through that. There's not another man on the street who can activities. Every penny I've ever made, all of my... They've been through every single...
Okay.
It should be an opera, right? It should be Shakespeare to put this indictment together. So when this indictment is finally created, it should be an opera, right? It should be Shakespeare. It should show money transfers, victims, old victims from long ago, videos, pictures, medical records. This indictment should be absolutely bulletproof.
Jesus Christ, have you seen the evidence? They push it in a freaking trolley. Jesus Christ, this guy. Which world are you living in?
The indictment was put together. I was held for 6 months without charge. That's the longest possible time I can be held without charge. The day before they finally submitted this indictment, it took as much time as they could. They took it down to the wire, every minute they could, to get this indictment together. And now the indictment's been put in front of a judge. And what has the judge done? The judge has picked up this indictment, looked at it, and said, "This is garbage, let him go."
And there is the lie. And there's you see the problem with the Tate. You see how, and this is first there's the excessive exaggeration, and there is the lie. This is exactly not what happened. And the funny thing about Andrew Tate is, I don't know if he listens to himself. You know, there are people who love to hear themselves talk, but then he listens to himself and forgets what he just said. Earlier, he just said, what have been going to court for the, couple of, months, I guess 2 months he has been going to the court trying to, get off the house arrest, had nothing to do with evidence, right? Which I said was partially correct. It had nothing to do with evidence, which means my going to court this past few months was to get myself off bail. My trial date has not even been fixed yet for the main case. This, what I've been going to court doing for the past couple of months, I think 2 months or 1 month, I don't know how many months he has been, contesting his house arrest. Had nothing to do with evidence. He said that earlier. And now he's saying, oh, actually, they've looked into the case. The judge has looked into the case, has looked into their airtight case against me. They took their time. They ironed out every single fact, and the judge has looked at it and has thrown it away. I mean, that is a bold-faced lie. That is not what happened. And you'll be shocked it will shock you how many people believe this nonsense. There's somebody on Twitter who I respect so much, a Nigerian. I will not mention his name, but as I said, he's a Nigerian. You already know who he is. Another hint is that he has interviewed Elon Musk. And this guy is just, repeating the same lie, the same half-baked, unintelligent lie that Andrew Tate is spewing. Like, really? And this is the funny thing. If we continue down this video, before the end of the video, he said, I still have my date in court. So, what is it? Get your story straight. Have your case been kicked out? Why do you still have your day in court? Why is there still your day in court if the case have been kicked out? Like, keep your story straight. Don't be emotional. Don't just go off rambling and talking nonsense. And you also said earlier in the video that you are a professional. You are not emotional. But look at what you're saying here. You sound like a crybaby. You sound like a freaking crybaby. You sound like somebody who needs tissue. Jesus Christ, this is not alpha male behavior. This is childish, for Christ's sake. Get your story straight and try to be coherent and logical. But of course, to the Tate fans, none of this matter. None of this matter. Andrew Tate is without flaws. And we should all understand, he's been through a lot, so that's why he's incoherent. But why we'll excuse his incoherence based on the fact that, he's been through a lot. In the next interview, he's going to be like, I have the fortitude of 45 men, and none of this is shaking me. I was built for this, like he was saying to Candace Owens. I was built for this. I was designed for this. I was engineered for this. I was hardwired for this. All my life, all the things I've gone through was for this moment. And I'm not shaking at all. I've not even moved a bit. None of this affects me. He will say all of that. And then in the next minute, you just see that everything he just said is a big lie. And his fans don't even notice it. They don't. To them, none of this matter. There's something else I want to show you guys. I want to be sure. Okay, so before this video starts,
That's
playing,
not.
Of course, Tucker Carlson, who obviously all he cares about is just it's just views at this point. Like, let us all be honest. I used to think the guy was a credible journalist, but journalism in right wing journalism is not is just uh CNN journalists who believe in Jesus. That's right wing journalism. CNN journalists who believe in Jesus and believe in sometimes claim to believe in I mean, they're just it's pathetic. It is really, really pathetic. It is hard to watch. Like, the race to the bottom between these guys are doing, like, it's hard to watch. It's so hard to watch. So hard to watch. But let's watch this one. This one, I saw this online and I thought it would be nice to share this with you guys. In case you're not on Twitter and you're not seeing stuff like this, let me create awareness.
Connected at all to the church?
Not at all. The webcam studio was shut 4.5, 5 years before I allegedly started this kidnapping gang. So they're not connected.
You do not run a web business now?
No, absolutely not.
The cam business is it's still going because my most loyal girls will never leave.
Look at the year.
That's why it's going.
A year ago.
So I have these girls on these various webcam websites who will never, ever, ever leave.
Exactly.
My main thing when it comes to girls right now and money is my OnlyFans management agency.
And also, none of the alleged victims are girls who've ever worked at my streaming company in the past. There's zero connection at all.
So that's not connected at all to the church?
Not at all. The webcam studio was shut.
It's playing again. So you can see the lies. These are and the funny thing is that the lies are verifiable. Like, if you want to lie about something that it will be hard to verify. But he doesn't even care. He lies, even lies that are verifiably false. Like, you can verify that what he just said is false, and he goes ahead and lies about it anyways. And his fans, his loyal fans, don't even have a problem with it. To them, there's nothing that he's doing that is wrong. Here's a video of Tristan Tate talking about
the women who I meet and roll in the circles I meet. When you run game like me and meet the women who I meet and roll in the circles I meet, you meet beautiful virgins sometimes. Me, I'll do 2 or 3 virgins a year. Now, how do you date a virgin when you're an ice cold player? There is a tactic which I'm going to share with you on how to date a virgin and how to take.
This is the guys who are complete. Now, as you're watching this, I want you to keep in mind. I know it's hard to lose track of this, and I've said so many things to contradict this, but I want you to keep in mind that these guys are 100% innocent. Okay? They are 100% innocent, and what else do I need to point out also? I also need to point out the fact that they are 100% innocent, and they are moral, they are upright. Remember when Andrew Tate was talking with Candace Owens, and he said what he has done is slightly immoral. I don't know if you guys catch that phrase. Go and watch, if you guys have watched, all of you who keep telling me, go and watch the 10 billion hours interview he did with Candace Owens. I've watched it. Do you know the funny thing about that interview is that I've watched it 3 times. 3 times. 3 times. That is why I can remember that he said slightly moral. I mean, slightly immoral. That's the word he used to describe what he has done or the things that are being leaked. He said those videos from 10 years ago show something those are his words. Slightly immoral. Those were his words. That what he has done is slightly, not. Yes. So please, as you are watching him, educate his followers on how to these virgin girls. Young girls, remember that this is slightly immoral. Okay? So let's keep watching.
Take a girl's virginity. Now, the recipe hasn't changed, but the tactics and the implementation.
Somebody said in the comments that video that I played earlier wasn't from what did you say? Sorry. I don't know. The comments had gone. What did the person say? He said that the video was from 15 years ago when he was just like 15 years exactly. In fact, not just 15 years ago, it's from 250 years ago. In fact, this clip, sorry, I should have mentioned This clip is from 20. This is from like 1865. Okay, I know some of you will be wondering how did we get cameras back then, but don't ask stupid questions like that. Okay, all things are possible when the Tates are involved. So yeah, two things you should keep in mind. This is slightly immoral, and this is from like 300 years ago. So let's keep going.
Temptation has certainly changed. Be their boyfriend for 3 months and be in a nice relationship with them. That is the recipe. I'm sorry, guys. You want to run into a virgin and fuck her the next day? Don't ask me how.
Also, please, language. Of course, when we are dealing with the Tates, you know this is R-rated. It goes without saying. I'm very sure none of you will be watching this with your child or somebody who is underage. Please know that this is adult content. When it comes to the Tates, this is adult content. So please, viewers discretion is advised.
I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. I don't even think it's possible. You have to be their boyfriend for an extended period of time. You then have to take her virginity on the 2nd month anniversary or something along those lines, and I'm going to teach you how to do it.
Exactly. Let me not be the one to teach you how to do it by playing this video to the end. And of course, you can go ahead in the comments and accuse me of taking it out of context because I did not play the 2 minutes video to the end, because maybe somewhere at the end of that 2 minutes video, he was like, oh, I was just joking. Obviously. So there you have it. And just to tell you the kind of despicable filth that Tucker Carlson was interviewing and didn't even care to ask hard questions. Instead, allow him to just keep rambling. Here is something he was saying about the mother of his child. And this lady in question, I think her name is Abigail. Yeah, this lady in question, there are images of her on OnlyFans as far back as last year. And I know by the Tates, last year is like 20 years. But just last year, there are images of her on OnlyFans from last year. She, as in nude, the whole show. Clothes fully off, playing with sex toys and all whatnot. There are images of her from last year. And this is the mother of his child. And here is what he has to say about how he treats this woman, or how he treated this woman one time when the woman did something that he did not like. Listen.
Finally have the kid. She knows Tristan Tate doesn't take shit. And I had to, and this is actually good. I wouldn't, I guess, admit this on a live, but I had to downgrade one of the mothers of my kids from the house she was living in. I needed her to understand that you do not fuck with me. And she was living in a 4-bedroom rented house, and I was paying the rent and all the bills, and I pay everything. I said, okay, you know what? You want to fuck with me in that way? That's cool. You have 30 days to get out of that house. Here's your new apartment, 2 bedrooms. Well, what do you mean? Now your child doesn't have a garden to play in. Well, that's your fault. That is not my fault. Take her to the fucking park. I don't take shit. So it's never going to get to that level where they think, oh, well, let me call the U.S. Embassy, and because he's a citizen, maybe I can, because they know the consequence. It's not going to turn out good for them or me or anybody.
Yeah, so that's the kind of person this guy is. That's the slightly immoral stuff that we are involved in. This guy is making people like Jeffrey Epstein look like saints. I'm very sure if you compare to Jeffrey Epstein, this guy, anyways, before we get off the topic of Andrew Tate, there are a couple of things I want to say about this guy. Believe me, there are a lot of things I want to say about him. But I want us to look at, and I'm going off on a tangent on this, guys, but I just want us to look at the first few hours of the first few minutes, rather, not hours, we'll not go into hours, but the first few minutes of his interview with Tucker Carlson and the things he said. So this is, of course, you can see this is just the first few minutes. I want us to just look at that. I think there's something I noticed there and I want to point out. Let me see if I can remember.
So I didn't realize that there are apparently women involved in your human trafficking gang.
Yeah, in this organized.
What kind of stupid question is that? Like, can we just take a moment to ask us, what kind of stupid question is that? I did not realize that there were women involved in your human trafficking gang. What? You did not read the indictment. These people went like, just keep watching.
Criminal gang. So what you have to understand is this. They didn't want the case file, the evidence to be that I manipulated people by being nice to them to make TikTok videos. That's not what they wanted.
And there he is again, repeating the lie that this is TikTok. If any of you have seen the indictment, I'm not going to show it here. Don't tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. That's your issue. Those people, those Tate fans who still believe that I'm wrong somehow, that's your issue. Proving how ridiculous it is to say this is just TikTok money. If you still believe that nonsense, then I don't know what else to tell you. But everybody knows that is verifiably false at this point. Everybody knows that's a huge lie. I don't think there's anybody who still believes that nonsense. Right? And I'm very sure Tucker Carlson did this interview the same day he did the interview, or the same period he did the interview with Andrew Tate. He wanted to release them, you know. He didn't want to release them at once. He wanted to milk the moment like a clout chaser that he obviously is. It goes without saying at this point that this guy, all he cares about, Tucker Carlson, all he cares about is clout. It's not even an insult at this point. It's just a description. So he knows that at this point that has been debunked. To use the word you like using, that has been debunked countless number of times. This has nothing to do with TikTok money. He knows about it, or it is already public information, but is it that he does not know about it, or he has not been paying attention and he really does not care about facts? Doesn't. And he has this in the other interview he was planning to milk, and he still allowed it to air. Why? At least he did us the favor of not coming up with some useless monologue like he did for Andrew Tate, where he kind of compared him to Julian Assange. I mean, how pathetic.
They put me all over the news. They searched every house I own in the country with armed men. They were looking for victims of something.
Yes.
They were looking for scorned ex-girlfriends. Any woman to come forward and say that she was hurt by me. They were looking for real evidence. The fact that the case file is so laughable now is just because real evidence doesn't exist. So when you have no real evidence, you go for junk evidence.
Yeah, the evidence was junk. Guys, I need you guys to understand something. In Romania, before a case goes to trial, the judge will have to examine it, look at the evidence, and look if it is, if there is a case here before the case goes to trial. The judge has to look at the evidence that the prosecution has, right? And the judge looked at the evidence, saw the junk evidence that they had, and was like, yeah, let it go to trial. Of course, that's what we do in Romania. In Romania here, what we do is we allow junk evidence to go to trial. And after these guys and this is the funny thing, this is an insult to the judicial system already. You're already insulting the Romanian judicial system. And after doing this nonsense, these guys are still going to come and say, we are trying to respect the Romanian judiciary. Do you know what respect is? You are respecting a system that you constantly are mocking directly or indirectly. Yes, those people were so daft and stupid. They saw the case against you. They saw the mountain of evidence that was being pushed in a trolley into the courthouse. They saw all of that and they were like, well, it's junk, but we are going to allow it to go to trial. But please, every wise person online, keep listening to these guys, okay?
You try to make your case on human trafficking based on, well, they were nice to these girls on TikTok, and these are girls who would say to me, hey, share my post on Instagram. I'll be like, yeah, no problem. So, because I'm a big social media guy. I don't know a single person when I had Instagram, from my cameraman to my personal trainer, who didn't ask me to blow them up on Instagram. But that is now the link they have between me and these people, saying that they're human trafficked, even though...
Can you imagine the nonsense? He's saying why they are saying, Jesus Christ, why they are accusing him of human trafficking is because he promoted people's page on TikTok. Because everybody knows that Tristan Tate is huge on TikTok. Yeah, maybe it's because Tucker Carlson is a boomer. I guess that's what you Americans call it. He's a boomer, so he knows nothing about TikTok. To know that these guys are not even on TikTok. But of course, the guy who is not on TikTok is so huge. He's also huge on TikTok. So huge that he's promoting people's page on TikTok that he's not on, that he's also huge on. Are you guys following the level of coherent, consistent truths that we are receiving from Tristan Tate? which is also interesting and fascinating, as the comments on this tweet have carefully highlighted. But let's continue.
These people, defend me. But there are 2 women involved, yes. My personal assistant and her friend got thrown in prison with me. Essentially, their crime was inviting one of the alleged victims to a birthday party that I wasn't even at, that happened in this house. That's how they
How
tied them in.
long were these 2 women in prison?
The same 92 days. The same 92 days. The worst part...
Have they been charged?
Yeah, along with us. They're part of the organized criminal gang, which is hilarious because Luana, one of the girls, has never, ever, in the whole 6 years I've known her, had a conversation with Andrew once. They don't know each other. Andrew didn't even know her name. And she's apparently a part of this organized criminal gang. The interesting part is, do you remember Christopher Hitchens when he was alive?
I knew him well.
So I don't even know where to begin with this. I don't even know if I should continue playing this because, of course, it's funny. I can sit here and make fun of the whole thing, but it's also heartbreaking, especially when you look at Tucker Carlson's facial reaction, and then you realize how oblivious and how ignorant he is, and he just cannot believe it. I mean, you are going to interview these guys. These are heavily controversial figures. These are people who are facing a charge in Romania. And at least you should have called the Romanian prosecution, call DICOT, call them and say, listen, I'm going to interview somebody who you guys are charging. Let me see the evidence you guys have against these people, so at least I can ask meaningful questions. I think that, that's the bare minimum you can do. That's the least you can do. Even if you don't believe DICOT, at least know what it is that they are saying. So at least you can verify with the Tates. Is that not the best? Is that not what a journalist is supposed to do? Like, is that not what a journalist is supposed to do? Call the prosecution, get some information. This guy is there, knows nothing about the case. He's learning about it. He's swallowing the whole thing, and he's like, oh, this has to be true. And this guy is one of the prominent figures when it comes to journalism in the United States. I mean, we have shitty journalists in Nigeria. But this guy make them look like Pulitzer Award-winning journalists. This guy make them look like the pinnacle of journalism. If those people are shitty journalists, then I don't know what you will call. I don't know what you will call Tucker Carlson. At this point, Tucker Carlson is. Journalism in America for me right now is just entertainment. It is just entertainment. All everyone cares about is, oh, the conversation is so interesting. Oh, it was a fun conversation. It was really, really nice. I really enjoyed it. Nobody is asking themselves, what I'm hearing from these very interesting stories, are they true? I mean, if all you want to hear are fascinating stories, then go to the movies. That's not what interviews like this are supposed to be about. Of course, yes, at the very least, yes, it should be fascinating. You should try and make it interesting. I'm not saying it shouldn't be, but that is not the goal. The goal is to seek and tell the truth. That's what journalism is about, looking for the truth. Here you are, just you know nothing. You go to an interview blind. It's the same thing that Candace Owens did, and for me, I just feel this is bad. This is really, really bad. I used to think that right wing was like right wingers often flatter themselves by calling themselves the Team Sanity, Team Truth, and what have you. But for this couple of months, I've looked at the right-wing journalism, and I'm like, I don't see truth here. You are doing the same thing the left is doing. You are after a narrative. You are after a particular narrative. And listen, some of the narrative you want to push, I agree with so many of them. If you look at my content, you know that I align with so many right-wing values. I align with so many of them. But if a story does not highlight that value, it doesn't. Stop twisting it to make it do something it is not doing. Stop doing that. That's not what journalism is about. Journalism is not about pushing a narrative. It's about pushing and peddling the truth. But sadly, that is lost in the West. And with that, we wrap up whatever it is I want to say about the West. I have a lot of things to look into. And now we are in Africa, guys. We are in Africa. And let's start with this story. Let's start with this story. I think this short video from Weon kind of explains it in a nutshell what is going on in South Africa with the EFF party, which is the third largest party in South Africa, and the concert. I'll call it a concert at this point, but I think it's a rally that happened a few days ago that every white person in America who is conservative, they want to, rightfully so. I'm not, listen, I get it. Rightfully so, But we are going to listen to get the full gist in a nutshell. So let's see.
And staying on with stories regarding Musk and his platform X. Elon Musk, one of the world's wealthiest, as we know, and Julius Malema, leader of South Africa's third largest political party, were going at each other on the social media platform X. Despite distancing himself from South Africa, his country of birth, Musk says that Malema's party is pushing white genocide in South Africa.
I mean, news stations, I don't know, must you do this? Like any person, are you guys catching these slight jabs you have to give to Elon Musk? I know none of you like him, but is it like every opportunity you're going to take it to just throw a small jab at him? Like, sorry, somebody is saying I should acknowledge my super chats. Jesus Christ. I should, let me see. I really should. But believe me, I'm not even seeing them the way I should see them. Believe me, they are not showing the way they should. Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry I'm not acknowledging the super chats. Let me just do that before we move to this story, okay? First of all, there's somebody whose chat just disappeared. I can't even see it anymore. She was greeting. I think it's not a she, it's a he. Sorry, and he was greeting somebody from the Dutch. They are from where? Poland. I don't even know. Sorry, I don't even know where the Dutch is. People who are Dutch, where they are from. I don't know. Sorry. But anyways, yeah, I saw the super chat just disappeared, and I cannot see it anymore. And I want to say to the person, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you to every one of you that are, sending me live chats, and that you are here. You are. Somebody said not acknowledging super chats is haram. Unfortunately, I'm not a Muslim. So, yeah. Okay, they are from Holland. Thank you. Yes, the guy is Dutch and he's from Holland. I am sorry that your super chat has disappeared. But I fully acknowledge it and thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. I was hoping that it would before when I was live previously, if you had been with me earlier on from 12 o'clock, you realized that the chat kind of disconnected and then reconnected again. And when it was on, then I could see the live chat just appear at the top, but now it's kind of disappears and I don't even know how to find it. Sorry. I will do more Google search and understand how this whole thing works. Jesus Christ, I'm embarrassing myself. And here I am. Every single shot every single shot I do, rather, I'm taking a dunk at Joe Biden. And I'm worse at handling modern technology. And I'm very sure the guy is more competent than I am. But anyway, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Keep sending the super chats. I will acknowledge them moving forward. I will. Thank you guys so much. And so, yeah, I was saying something before that, which was the fact that this lady, let's just listen to what she said. That I won't forget what I was saying.
Despite distancing himself from South Africa, his country of birth.
You see, now Elon Musk criticized the guy for the song he sang. And this news lady had to point out the fact that Elon Musk has distanced himself from the country of his birth. Like, what does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with the story? Like, what, I don't know if you guys understand why I'm picking an issue with this. Of course, it might look like it's nothing, but this is how news anchors or whoever write the stuff that they read, this is how they throw these subtle jabs that you just know this person is partisan in some way. That is an opinion piece. That, as far as I'm concerned, that information makes this news reporting kind of like an opinion piece, because you're already, showing where you are lying. Like, why do you have to put that in there that he has distanced himself from South Africa? What does that have to do with anything? I mean, Elon Musk was not saying, I am talking about this because I am from South Africa. Okay? That's not what he's doing. Banzel, thank you for the super chats. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chats. Let me not make that mistake again of not acknowledging super chats. Thank you so much. And yes, so that's what I think about, what they just did here. But let's continue.
Musk says that Malema's party is pushing white genocide in South Africa. Our reporter, Calvin Ogmu, has filed this next report. Take a look.
Shoot to kill.
This is the controversial slogan that got many people, in particular white people, upset and venting their anger on social media platforms against economic freedom fighters. One prominent figure was Elon Musk, and this is his tweet. He tweeted, "They are openly pushing for genocide of white people in South Africa. Cyril Ramaphosa, why do you say nothing?" Soon after Musk tweeted, Malema replied with this, "O bolela masipa," which translates directly into, "You are talking." These conversations led to many more joining in. The chant, "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer," was popularized in the 1990s by Peter Mokaba, a former youth leader of the African National Congress.
Yeah, I need to pause here because which is something so many people don't know about the song. That is not what's his name? That's not Malema's song. He's not the one who came up with the song. That's a song that has been in that came out in the 90s in South Africa, which was used as one of those songs they sang during the struggle for freedom. Now, many people are picking issues with this song, and they're saying the song is calling for the genocide of white people. Now, a couple of things I want to say. I do not live in South Africa, right? I don't know much about. I'm not well versed in South African politics. Although I know some things. I'm privy to some information. I'm a Nigerian, right? We are not that far apart. But as a Nigerian, I know there are certain songs that we sing when we are going for protest, or when we are going for rallies and stuff like that, that you might be misinterpreted as calling for violence or stuff like that. But they are not really doing that. Okay? They are not really doing that. It's just kind of an exaggeration. But I'm not saying I need to be careful how I word my opinion here. I'm not saying that white people should not be concerned. Of course, South Africa is not. Anyway, I will get to that later. But I just want to begin by saying the song itself did not come out. It was not released last week. This song has been in existence since the 90s, right? And even last year, which will be reported in this news, last year, the court in South Africa ruled that the song does not, amount to hate speech. It does not amount to hate speech. So that's the ruling from the South African court. This is not hate speech because it is believed that it should not be taken literally, right? But of course, it does not negate the fact that the song in of itself is problematic. It is problematic. It is. And I really hope people don't really, really take it literally. I really hope that. Maybe it's one of those songs that you sing figuratively, but it's really, really scary and concerning. It is.
Congress, which has led the country since the end of white minority rule in 1994. Mokaba, who died in 2002, argued that the call shouldn't be literally interpreted, but was a metaphor for taking a stand against apartheid. And last year, South Africa's Equality Court ruled that it didn't amount to hate speech. This is the event where economic freedom fighters sang the controversial struggle slogan. On Monday, political party Democratic Alliance said they would open a case against Julius Malema, while another party, Freedom Front Plus, said they have already opened a criminal case. But there are others who have come to Malema's defense, with various ex-users lambasting Elon Musk for condemning the singing of a struggle song. This is Calden Ongmo from Johannesburg, South Africa. For WION, World is One.
All right, so that's the news story here. And before I give my take, I want to acknowledge Tara. Tara, thank you so much. Thank you, Tara from Ireland. Thank you so much. Thank you for this super chat. I really appreciate. Now, please, so many people in the comments are already coming for my truth. Please, and please, I am not in any way justifying the song. Please, people should not get as in be. It's easy for people to get in their feelings with stuff like this. I understand. I am not saying it is not a problem. And I'm not saying, how do I put this? Jesus Christ. I find myself in a bind because there's something I want to say and or I'm trying to say, and when I say that, people will forget the fact that I said this is problem. I don't know if you've ever find yourself in that situation where you said something is bad, but the next thing you're about to say will make it look like you did not say that thing is bad. And once you say that, everybody's going to forget the fact that you said this thing is very despicable and it is very bad. Like, this is bad. The song is indeed problematic. It is. Yes, we can argue and we can say categorically that it is racist. It is calling for the genocide of white people when you take it literally. And people hear the argument for those who are using the song are saying it should not be taken literally. Now, I don't live in South Africa. I don't know how they take it. I don't know if this is taken literally or if this is taken figuratively. But then we also should acknowledge the fact that there's something called freedom of expression, right? And people have the right to say whatever it is they want to say. All right? And you can criticize them, which should be heavily criticized, but I don't think the call for, all this criminal prosecution that has been done, I don't think is warranted. I believe people, even though they are saying something very hateful, have the right to say it, right? And also people in the US who are really shouting and making noise about this. I don't know. They don't live in they don't live in Africa or in South Africa, so I don't really know what their issue is with this. Of course, I get part of their issue is because of how left-wing media is just quiet about the whole thing or trying to downplay it. Of course, there's that, which is kind of unnecessary. Like, this is bad. Just say it is bad and move on, right? Or even condemn it. I will be okay with like long editorial pieces from the New York Times or from CNN condemning this song and showing how indeed this is very problematic and how this can be taken literally and how it puts white people in danger or, it makes them afraid. Imagine living in a country where songs like this can be sung freely and people find nothing wrong with it. You feel unsafe. You feel at risk, constantly at risk. And there's a news article, I don't know how true it is. I don't think I have it, but I saw it once when I was researching this. A news article that said that the attacks on white has increased since this song was sung, the day it was sung at that stadium. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if this is another sensational reporting, but that is not hard to imagine, right? That is not really hard to imagine. This is indeed problematic, okay? But one important point I want to make is, for me, this is just a portion of the major problem with South Africa for me, which is the problem of xenophobia, which nobody has, nobody in the media, both left and right, of course, they don't even care about Africa. So let all of us be honest, they don't really care. It's only when it fits whatever narrative they want to push, whether you're left wing or right wing. If you're on the right, you want to prove that, white people are under attack. If you're on the left, you want to prove that right-wingers are being hysterical unnecessarily. whatever it is, everybody wants to dunk on each other, and the real victims are always in the middle looking up like, what are you guys talking about? And the real problem that I have with South Africa is xenophobia. South Africa is very xenophobic. Like, let me just show you something. This is a news article. This is a news article from August 29, 2023. Xenophobia. Nigeria alerts nationals in South Africa of planned attack. This is to advise Nigerians living in South Africa to be vigilant and exercise caution in their activities due to the recent utterance of the proponent of the operation, Dudula, and their threats to attack foreign nationals in this country. This is one. This is from when? August 29, 2022. This is another one. This one is from January 2023. Let it load. He said 2 Nigerians shot dead in renewed xenophobic attack in South Africa. This is as early as January. Because let me not show before they strike my video down for showing something it's not supposed to show. This is a report from January. He said, according to ICIR, on Monday, one of the victims identified as Dashu was gunned down at Midrand Hyper in Johannesburg on Saturday, but the details of the accident were still unclear. This is from January. Now, this one is from September 17, 2019. I was aware of this one. It made major news in Africa. Major news. South Africa had to apologize to Nigeria because of this. It was that bad. Xenophobic attack. Nigerians were evacuated from South Africa because of this. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. You know, I don't even know what you guys are fighting over in the... I don't know what you guys are fighting over in the comments. What are you guys talking about? All right. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Now, this is something that happened in 2019. I remember Nigerians being evacuated. Like, we had to send planes to go in there and get Nigerians out of South Africa, those who were under threat of xenophobic attacks. Like you can see in the image there, this is real. It happens often. In fact, look at one headline. This is how one headline from Channels Television, Channels News, sorry, a news outlet in Nigeria. Listen to how the headline couched it. It says xenophobia, South Africans, and this is from 2019, October 2019. It says South Africa attacks Nigerians again. Emphasis on again. Meaning this has happened repeatedly. This is what if anybody wants to understand, wants to know what is one of the things that South Africa is known for in Africa. One of the things South Africa is known for in Africa is xenophobia. Okay? So it is a much, for me, I feel the whole shoot to kill is just a symptom of that deep-rooted problem. And I don't understand it. I really do not understand it. There are so many South African nationals in Nigeria. MTN, one of the biggest service providers in Africa and in Nigeria, is South African owned. Yet, the discrimination Nigerians get to face over there sometimes is alarming, is problematic. Why? Are we not all the same? Don't we have the same skin color? Why the hatred because somebody is a Nigerian? It's something that I really would want to sit with a South African and have them explain this to me, because it doesn't make sense. And that, for me, is the real problem that I have with South Africa. That is my major beef with South Africa. And that's all I'm going to say with regards to the whole EFF, Elon Musk, what is his name? Malema saga. Is that the real issue that I have with South Africa is xenophobia. Now to the last item, last thing I want to talk about is Niger. Of course. Niger. Our close neighbor, my close neighbor. Niger shares a border with Nigeria. I don't know if many people are aware of this. Niger does share a close border with Nigeria, and we are having conflict. There's we're having conflict. This is from August 3rd. Nigeria cuts off power supply to Niger Republic. Niger, one of the world's poorest countries, depend on Nigeria for 70% of its power. And this is all part of the ECOWAS sanction, right? Many ECOWAS countries are coming up with sanctions against Niger because of the military coup in Niger that overthrown will I use the word overthrown, or unseat the democratically. In Africa, democracy is in air quotes. Democratically elected president of Niger. How you know the guy is not democratic or legitimate is the fact that he was overthrown by through illegal means, unconstitutional means, right? And the people of Niger are happy about that. They are celebrating it. They are jumping, they are gyrating, they are happy about it. That's the wonderful state of things in Africa. I can tell you that there are many countries where if a military coup is to happen there today, if a dictatorship is to take over that country today, the people in that country will not be sad. They will not be crying. When things like that happen in Western countries, people are like, oh, the demise of democracy and stuff like that. When it happens in Africa, some countries, some of which are, anyways, some countries, people celebrate it and like really celebrate it. Like, and it's not just some fringe minority, of the overall population. I mean, a huge chunk, a significant majority, more than 50%, hell, more than 70% will celebrate such. Right now, I can think of one country. In their flag, the color green is there. I can think of one country, if a military coup is to happen in that country today, there will be celebration in the streets. You will hear fireworks. Women will be dancing. Men will be beating drums. Children will be shouting for joy. It will be 25th of December in that country, right? Is in the moment such a thing happen. That is how it is in Africa, and that is what is obviously happening in Niger. It goes without saying. And somehow ECOWAS feel the need to step in and restore democracy in Niger. I didn't know it was part of the job of ECOWAS to restore democracy in countries in ECOWAS country. It's economic community of West African states. Economic community. I thought what they are more concerned about is about economy, like their name would suggest. I didn't know it also had to do with them. I didn't know it was democratic community of West African states. So yeah, and so that's how that's the whole thing with the whole sanction stuff. And here's a funny thing about the Nigeria cutting power supply to Niger. One of the sources of electricity in Nigeria is a place called the Kanji Dam, right? And that dam is in somewhere in River Niger. And the reason why Niger does not have their own dam is because if they have their own dam, it will affect ours. There's how it is located. It will affect ours. So in order not to have that, where they will have electricity and we would not, we reached an agreement with them that they will not have their own dam and we will have ours and we will supply them with electricity. So that's how we get to supply them with 70% of electricity. Now that's the agreement. And now our government is going against that agreement because we want to restore democracy. I don't know since when Nigeria became United States that concern itself with what is going on in another country. I don't know when that has been the case, but that's where we find ourselves. But obviously, the fingerprint of France is all over this. It's all over this. I mean, here's a report from France 24. This is a news station from France 24. And look at the headline. Why is ECOWAS hesitant over military intervention in Niger? So now you can know where the pressure is coming from. You can all see what is going on in the comments. You guys are always talking about something. Uh, anyway, so you can all see what is going on here and who is calling for military intervention. It is France, right? It is France. Even the what's his name? I am looking for. I'm looking for. Okay, here is one headline that I saw about this where it says France deals revoked by Niger's military we are signed with legitimate government. Okay, essentially what the French government is saying here is that they have certain agreements that they signed with Niger, and that they signed those agreements with a legitimate government, and that the current government, the military government that kind of overthrew the legitimate democratically elected government is what was I trying to say? Apparently what they were trying to say is they don't recognize the current government in Niger, and they do not deem the contract that he has nullified null and void because he doesn't have the authority. He was not the one who signed it, and he's not legitimate. That's what France is saying to the current government of a country, disregarding them because, I don't know, maybe because it's Niger and they can kick them around. It doesn't make sense to me. But I know why all of this is happening. Natural resources, of course. Okay? And also the fingerprint of Russia is in all of this as well, And that one is even more glaring than any other thing. You can see the hands of Russia in this. All of the fingerprint is all like the crime scene is just littered with Russian fingerprints. They're not even hanging. It's not just Russian fingerprint. Like when you come to the crime scene of this coup, you will see Russian flag. You see Russian. You will see Russia all over it, boldly written. This is Russia. We are the ones involved in this. We are the ones instigating this. This is so Russia. I mean, look. Here's a headline that says Niger's military rulers ask for help from Russian group Wagner. You know Wagner are the same people who almost led a coup. Now, Niger is asking for help from Wagner. So you can see where all of this is coming from. And what I want to say is, whatever NATO is doing in Ukraine with Russia, let them keep it in Europe. Okay? Let them just keep it in Europe. They should not bring it to West Africa. We have enough problems. I mean, we have enough problems. We have so many problems. Nigeria is dealing with serious inflation at the moment. Serious inflation. Mind-blowing. As an inflation that my my dad, who is alive, if you had asked him, would you have ever seen a day like this? He would say, no, I did not imagine that a day like this will come in Nigerian economy, where with the level of inflation we are seeing right now. Businesses are leaving the country. Foreign investors are like, it's not just Nigerians that are trying to leave the country. Even foreign investors are like, we are done. A major pharmaceutical company, JSK, just left. We have so many problems. And it's not just Nigeria. I'm sure every other West African country is facing the same thing. The last thing we need right now is a war. The last thing we need right now is a war. Nigerians are not in support of, if you just know this, that Nigerians are not in support in any way with our government intervening, or carrying out any military intervention in Niger. We are not in support. Here is a leader in the north, which is the part of the country that shares a border with Niger. Here is a leader from the north, Sheikh Zazaki, condemning any plan of invasion of Niger Republic. We do not support this, and I'm grateful also for the fact that the Nigerian senators rejected the president's request for troop deployment to Niger. So the senators in Nigeria have rejected the request to deploy Nigerian troops to Niger. Rejected. So if the president goes ahead, he's doing it unconstitutionally, apparently. So we are not in support. We don't want it. We don't want to engage with Niger. It's not going to go well for anybody. Nigeria has taken years dealing with Boko Haram. Up to now, we still have issues with Boko Haram. Our military is not strong and capable enough to fight Boko Haram. We want to fight Niger. Please, no. France, they said they have stock of uranium that will last them for 2 years. They should wait till that stock runs out, okay? And when it runs out, they should go to another place and find their uranium. Or at least have a sensible deal with Niger. Come up with another agreement. Or settle whatever dispute they have with Russia. Settle whatever dispute they have to settle. Don't turn a West African country to a burial ground because of natural resources. Please. And it's not like any of them will pay attention to me, but I think it is worth stating. And that is what I think. And that's what I think. Somebody is saying, Frank, move to Scotland and I'll give you a place to stay. No, thank you. Yes, ShopRite as well. In the place where I live, in the city where I live, there's a retail store. Is it a retail store now? I'll call it. Called Game. They've left the city. They've left. And ShopRite is also in the city where I live. And the way I look, every time I go to ShopRite in the city where I live, and I'm like, every time I go there, I'm like, ShopRite will soon leave. For those who don't understand what ShopRite is like Walmart in Nigeria. ShopRite is like our Walmart. And it's like saying Walmart is about to leave a city in Nigeria. Is that bad? You know, so yeah, that is kind of what we see. And we've been on for 2 hours if you count the one that happened before the stream was interrupted. We've been on for 2 hours. And yeah, I would love to read some of your chats and respond to some of them. All the super chats have obviously disappeared, sadly. Okay, they are still here, some of them. Oh, just two. Just two still remains. And yeah, I just want to thank all of you for staying with me this long. Somebody said that is Margot Q. I don't know how to highlight this. There should be a way to highlight this. I have no way of knowing how to highlight this on my. Yep. Anyways, what's happening? Am I still on? All right, I think I'm still on. Yeah, thank you, Skylander Addiction. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. See, Frank, are you planning on becoming a journalist? I would love to. Under the right condition with the right. If the stars align, let me use that word. I don't know. It's one of those phrases that I learned and I like using. When the stars align, if the stars align, I will definitely, consider going into journalism. But it's nicer being a social commentator, Then if you get any news story wrong, you can just throw your hands up and be like, hey, I'm not a journalist, I'm just a social commentator. I just comment on events. Blame people who got the story wrong. But, is much bigger responsibility. It's not entertaining. Social commentary is entertaining. News reporting is not entertaining, and it's not supposed to be entertaining. But right now, the whole thing is just entertainment. Margot Q, he said hi. Hi to you too. How are you? How are you doing? See, ladies, get your messages to Frank. Okay. White Rabbit UK, I see that. I miss the late 2000s. Yeah. So I say, Frank, we want to know if you're a married man. What do you think? Anyways, so yeah, that's somebody say Nigerian military is corrupt. We don't need them. Well, I don't know if it is one of those things that I'm allowed to agree with without risking getting to see just how effective the Nigerian military is, if you know what I'm saying. Well, that's a take. That's a take. Somebody wants to know if Nigeria is derived from the N word. Nigeria got the name from Flora Shaw, who was the wife of Lord Frederick Lord Lugard, or Lord Frederick Lugard. I don't even know how his name goes, but he was the wife of the first colonial um, um, colonial governor of Nigeria, uh, who orchestrated the amalgamation of Nigeria, and the wife was the one who came up with the name. Yeah, we are named by the name Nigeria is from colonialism. Yes. What else? The White Rabbit UK said, "I'm getting married next month. Congratulations. How old are you, Frank?" I'm in my late 20s. So I say, Frank, will you marry a trans woman, or are you a bigot like the rest of us? What do you think? Is that a question? What do you think? Of course, trans women are women. Trans women are women. In fact, the report I've received from the wokies in America is that not just are they women, but they are the best, right? Trans women are the best kind of women, so you should definitely marry them, obviously. The White Rabbit is just telling us about his marriage plans, getting married in Tunisia. Somebody said, wasn't Nigeria part of the Songhai before colonialism? No, there were many empires in Nigeria, right? There are so many empires in Nigeria. Nigeria is a conglomeration of so many kingdoms and groups, just merged together to form Nigeria. It's not just one ethnic group. Nigeria consists of over 300 ethnic groups. And each of these ethnic groups belong to different kingdoms. So maybe I don't even know what the Songhai Empire is. Maybe I need to look that up. I'm not even sure you even spelled it correctly. But if there's something like that, maybe one part of Nigeria may have belonged to that. But Nigeria as a whole is comprised of over 300 ethnic groups. So yeah. Somebody said, Elias, I said, I used to have a Nigerian co-worker. She was Christian and told me there are many Christians in Nigeria, but they are unfortunately persecuted, rather. Is it true? Well, it depends. It depends on your location. There are certain parts of the country where if you're a Christian in that part of the country, you're likely to face persecution of different kinds. So it depends. But it's not like everywhere. The persecution, why am I calling it persecution? The persecution is not everywhere. Somebody says, so you think Chinese colonization will be better than Western colonization? Well, the attitude that Nigerians have right now is that any colonization is better than Western colonization. That's kind of the attitude right now because we are tired of it. You need to understand where we are coming from, right? We are tired of the whole thing. The West have not really done anything to help they have. In all fairness, they've done some good things, but recently it's kind of looking like the cost is outweighing the benefit. And there are so many corruption, so many things that they endorse that are just destructive. Sorry, let me move to my main camera. Yeah, and there are so many things that they do that is just destructive. BA, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate. So, yeah, I don't know if Chinese colonization will be better. I don't want any form of colonization in Nigeria. I do not want that. I wish, my desire is that if we are to partner with the Chinese, the Russians, whoever we are partnering with, we should always put our interests. We should always seek our own interests. But I think every agreement is always more to the benefit of foreigners than it is to the benefit of Africans. That is the problem I have with whatever agreement or whatever foreign government or foreign investment that is going on in Africa. It seems to favor the foreigners more than it does the locals, people who live in those regions. And I think that is a problem. Somebody said, Tara, that's definitely an Irish surname. Hi, Frank. I love your shots. Do you do all the editing yourself? I do all the editing myself. Yes. Someone said the fault is all the woke nonsense that China is. No, I don't think it's the woke nonsense. It's not. It's not. It's not. The woke nonsense is there, right? And I don't think it has anything to do with It has a great deal to do with U.S. foreign policy in Africa. Even though Kamala Harris came here and was trying to promote whatever it is she was trying to promote, I don't think she was talking to anybody. She was just talking to herself. And I don't think that's like frontline U.S. policy, U.S. foreign policy in Africa. It's all about natural resources and control, and all of it wrapped up in we are trying to give these people foreign aid, but nothing goes for nothing. But yeah, someone said hi. Is that your username? Hi there, hi there. I don't know. Anyway, he said you never fail to crack me up. Thank you, thank you. Frank is my favorite YouTuber right now, exposing hypocrisy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I try my best. The hypocrisy is everywhere. A Nigerian musician once said, "Everyone is a hypocrite." Yeah, and that's kind of true if you think about it. And some people also, I've always seen comments where people kind of tell me that, who am I to call out this? Am I perfect? Calling out hypocrisy and calling out stupidity is not because you are not stupid, or it's not because you are not perfect. If the criteria upon which you call out stupidity is, oh, I'm perfect myself, then you have no ground to correct, to call out, to hold anyone accountable. If you have to be perfect yourself, then you have no right. You cannot, because nobody is. You understand? The way I like to see it is that we are all, this is something that was said by a musician known as Strip Lee. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's a US gospel rapper. He said we are all dirty people pointing each other to the bathroom. And that's like how I like to see it. That we are all dirty people pointing each other to the bathroom. And we should not be afraid to do that. Oh, because I'm dirty, therefore I should not call out someone else who is dirty. But of course, we should not be people who lack self-awareness, okay? We should not be people who lack self-awareness. Somebody said, I just searched Nigerian news and all I get is FIFA news. Yeah, when you search it on Google News, they will show you trending news, and the trending news story you'll see is football, because that's what we talk about most of the time. That's what trends, that's what people search from Nigeria most of the time. You have to follow certain news outlet, let's say like the Vanguard, Channels News, the Premium Times, even Al Jazeera. You have to follow some of these people, see some of the headlines they have about maybe Africa or Nigeria, and that's how you get to know like important news that has nothing to do with sports. What is my view on African countries exporting raw materials to the West? What I just think is it should be done fairly, right? I just feel if you read any document about or agreements that are being signed for this exportation of raw materials, you already know somebody is getting effed, okay? And the people getting effed are obviously the African countries. And when you call out this, people just say, "Oh, it's an agreement." That's one of the things like the French will say, "It's an agreement." But I'm like, no, yeah, it is an agreement, but this agreement is created in such a way that the person who gets effed are the African countries. So I'm all for exporting raw materials. Of course, we can't use all of them. We have large quantities of them, but let it be done fairly, So yeah, somebody said, sorry. I'm from the US. Something I think you have more of a handle on is happening in the US than some of the people here. Yeah. I get what you're trying to say, Linda Allison. And it's true. I notice it often that I am more aware of what is happening in the US than so many people who live in the US. Funny, but true. Yeah, I have noticed that myself. Sometimes I wonder if that's a good thing, but that's something that is a statement of fact. I saw an interview, one of those street interviews, and someone is being asked, "What is the capital of the United States?" And they have no idea. And I'm like, "Are you serious? It's called Washington D.C. How many states? It's 50 states. Yes, Puerto Rico is not a state. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I get to know so many things that happen than many. Is one of the problem of Westerners is how ignorant they are. Yeah, they are really largely ignorant. In Africa, they are ignorant people, but for Westerners, it's kind of inexcusable. Oh, Westerner, you have no excuse. The average African has no access to the internet. Many of them don't have access to cable TV. Many of them don't have access to electricity. So if they are uninformed, it's understandable, right? You see an average, so many average Nigerians in one particular part of the country, they move about with radio, with a radio set, listening to the news, trying to know what is happening regularly. So they stay up to date at least. But the average Westerner has no clue what is even happening in the world or in Nigeria or even in the United States. That's why sometimes when I see them chime in on something happening in some foreign country, I'm like, oh, please keep quiet. You don't even know what is happening in your backyard. And you want to talk about something happening in Ukraine. Will you keep quiet? I mean, look at those people who are commenting about the sport news that we talk about. I don't know if it was in this stream or in the one that got interrupted. And how they are relaying the news about what happened, with the Women's World Cup. And you can see these people are obviously ignorant. They didn't even try to even know what the sport is about. The average Westerner, especially the average American, is largely ignorant about so many things happening in the real world. A few Africans in a group I'm a part of think an African Union could benefit the continent. Yes, it will. We have an organization in Africa known as the African Union, which is which, like many organizations in this country, is just an organization, right? And real unity in Africa will be helpful. But when we are still dealing with xenophobia from South Africa, you see how difficult it is for us to really achieve true unity. When northern Nigeria and southern and eastern Nigeria, or northern Nigeria and western Nigeria, or western Nigeria and eastern Nigeria still have issues and don't see eye to eye on so many things, and sometimes they are at each other's throats, just within a given country, and I'm talking just Nigeria. You see how we are a long shot from unity in Africa, a long shot from unity, long shot rather, from achieving unity in this continent that is vast. I mean, we have so many differences, and we tend not to find it in ourselves to overlook those differences. Grievances that so many of us are not even aware of. We have carried it on our head. These are grievances passed from father to children. In fact, from great grandfather to great grandfather, from grandfather to father, from father to children, and the children are planning on passing it on to their unborn children. It's just it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Okay, this is from German Reich. German Reich, sorry. Since I said it like it was supposed to be a name. German Reich. Back in the States, when I was in third grade, I was exposed to education of LGBTQ. And because I wouldn't say I had pronouns, but people would say, oh, you are non-binary. Oh, you're non-binary? I don't even understand what you're trying to say, but it's kind of crazy that you get to be taught about LGBTQ in third grade. I don't know what third grade would translate to in Nigeria here, but I believe that's pretty young. In fact, secondary school or high school is not the place to inform people about things like this. It's just pathetic. It should not be happening. All right, guys. This has been fun. It has been fun hanging out with you guys, and I hope to do this again better. I hope to be more eloquent, more funny. I guess I was funny during the Andrew Tate part, and yeah. But I hope to do this more often, and I'm happy to hang out with you guys. happy to do this shot with you guys, and I'm happy. I appreciate the people who are alive. 85 of you I can see. It means a lot. You know, I was hoping that I would hit 100, but we'll try again next time. Oh, somebody just asked a very important question before I log off. The person, this is a Nico Deja. Sorry, I'm butchering so many names. I don't know how to read names. And I don't want that comment to go away. It's very important. He said, do you have faith in the judicial outcomes in Nigeria as the presidential election tribunal's judgment are coming out soonest? I don't. I don't. I remember when everyone was like, all eyes are on the judiciary. And I was like, well, I'm keeping my eyes somewhere else. I have little faith in the judiciary. As little faith as possible. And let's see. I hope I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. This is one of those things that I really hope I'm wrong. Like, I hope the Nigerian judiciary will prove me wrong with the election tribunal. For those of you who don't understand, we had an election this year, and the person who was declared the winner of the election is the current president, and but there are allegations of electoral misconduct, which obviously was the case. This was not a legitimate election. This was terrible. Just like every other, democratically elected president that we have in this country. The current president is one of those people who, I didn't vote for this guy. Who voted for this guy? You know that kind of person who become president and you're asking your neighbor, did you vote for that guy? I'm like, no. Did you? Then who voted for him? Well, we don't know, but he's the president now. So, and there is proof, enormous proof that that election was rigged. And we are hoping for justice, and we'll see. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And this is where I call it a day. And I'm going to end the stream right now. Thank you so much. And until the next time, good night or good morning. Good night or good morning, depending on where you are across the world. Thank you all for joining my live. Oh, we hit 115 views just when I'm about to end.